Hey guys, so good afternoon, thanks for coming. And before we start, I just want to appreciate Rish and his entire team for organizing this event because this is the first time Polkadot is doing an event of this size and scale in India. So I think for all the heavy lifting and everything that Rish and the team has done, I mean, we have to give a round of applause for that. Anyway, so I'm Gautam, CEO and co-founder of Polkadex, and I want to talk about the barrier of entry of a multi-chain system. Before I get into that, I want to say probably by now, in the last 1.5 days, you understood what Polkadot is all about, and also what Substrate is and what you can do as a builder or as a business, right? But I want to talk about the future. So before we do that, let me introduce who are we. So we are a team of 25 people based out of Estonia and India, and we are trying to create an order book-based DEX in the Polkadot ecosystem. And we are the only team doing the order book-based exchange in the Polkadot ecosystem. And the goal that we have is we want to build an exchange in a way that is similar in experience to a centralized exchange. At the same time, doesn't have custody, it doesn't have any kind of other problems that we have we have with centralized exchanges. And it's a very hard problem to crack because it took us 2 years. And a lot of other people has already done this in Ethereum, but failed miserably because of the experience, because of the operational cost, and so on and so forth. So that's what we are trying to crack. And in fact, we did crack this because of Substrate and Polkadot. And I want to explain the journey at the same time, emphasize on why we did certain things and how that relates to the barrier of entry problem in this ecosystem. So this is the product that we are building. It looks like a centralized exchange, but here we are not. The operator, the team, doesn't hold your fund, and it provides the world-class security that you as a user deserve. So what is this multi-chain future? I think Gautam and rest of the team yesterday discussed about the Polkadot and the parachains and why that is important, right? And now we need to think, what is the future of this? Now we have this technology, right? Where can we go from here? So what I mean by multi-chain is it's the next generation of blockchain because Bitcoin was a store of value. It was created out of necessity. And then people wanted to program it. Then came the Ethereum. Now we want to scale it up because Ethereum is reaching its capacity every single day. The fees are going high. And that's where Polkadot stepped in and created this multi-chain system where we can have independent blockchains or independent app chains that it is focused with specific problem and solves just that. And it can scale indefinitely in that particular vertical. At the same time, it can work similar to a smart contract talking to another smart contract with others, app chains or parachains. So that is called the multi-chain future, where we can have independent blockchains doing independent application-specific stuff, and then still, able to interact with other systems. So why low barrier of entry is important? Because think about it. The success behind Ethereum was how easy it is for a developer to create something and then deploy. It hardly costs a couple of bucks of Ethereum token, and you can create it and you're done. You can go to the next phase of the company, the growth and the business development and everything else. So the barrier of entry was really low, right? And when you think about increasing the number of users in an ecosystem, you should first think about developers because you have to bring in developers first. They are the first people to adopt your system. Then they build apps, and those apps bring users. So this is the evolutionary arc of an ecosystem's growth. So you have the product, you have the tech, you have the developers, then they build apps, and they bring users. So it's really important to have a very low or a relatively easy and cost-effective method to deploy the multi-chain systems that we are talking about here. And only then the developers can come in, and it will be much easier for them to create applications and then deploy that. So that's the reason why low barrier of entry is important. The second thing is low barrier of entry for users. Because think about it. I mean, My dad and or my parents, they need help with my help to start a PC. And we are expecting these mainstream users to handle crypto wallets and private keys and everything. I mean, it requires at least right now, it requires certain level of technical skills and technical knowledge to be fully secure with it. Otherwise, they will lose it and then cause all sorts of issues. So my point here is, it is near impossible to change user behavior, and we have to build products in such a way that it provides the same level of convenience and same level of structure as a Web 2.0 product. But it should have all the security guarantees and properties of a Web 3.0 product. So that's the next thing that we should be focusing about, because we have the tech. Polkadot and Substrate provides all the necessary infrastructure required for you to build things. And if you are able to build, in our case, if you are able to build a centralized exchange like app or a web app, which have the same experience, and there is no middleman, there is no custody, that's the holy grail. And that's what we are trying to do. And how we did that is because of Substrate and Polkadot. So that's what I want to talk about here. Because what we have here, this audience, I believe, consists of the pioneers or the builders who want to get into this ecosystem, or pioneers in your own field, and trying to understand how to improve this. So for those guys, what I want to say is, if you're adopting Polkadot or Substrate, the features, the ability, the superpower that you're getting here is you're able to build a Web 2.0 or a world-class experience, or the experience that the mainstream users are already comfortable with, with the Web 3.0 security guarantee. So that's really important as a developer or as a business, for you. Because let's take the example of ChatGPT, because we have seen that the growth of ChatGPT has been exponential since the day it started, because it started to improve the user's life, and sending an email, everything else become super convenient. So we have to think in that term. So how can we build a product in such a way that it actually makes the lives of user easy, without adding extra complexities to it? So that's what we should be preparing for, and that's exactly what Substrate provides. Substrate provides you with all sorts of tools and all sorts of mechanisms to create such experiences and still have the security that your users deserve. And how did we leverage this in Polkadex? So as I mentioned earlier, so we are an exchange, right? A decentralized exchange. So we have people coming from different ecosystems, let's say other parachains, other Ethereum. I think time's up, but let me fast forward. So yeah, Polygon and other chains. So the first thing that we need to solve is, these users are coming with their own tokens. They don't have anything to do with Polkadex or our own token. So the requirement of these users to hold our tokens to interact with our product or application, or your own token with your own app, it's kind of bullshit, right? It spoils the experience. So we are able to build a mechanism where users can use any kind of third-party token that they are coming from any other third-party ecosystem, and still pay for fees. For example, if you're a user coming from Ethereum, you can pay the fees in Ethereum and still interact and use Polkadex without even buying a single unit of Polkadex token. Now, that's a really cool user experience, because you are a MetaMask user, you're comfortable with that, and you're using that, whatever you are comfortable with in MetaMask, to trade with Polkadex. And this is possible because of Substrate. On top of that, there are other teams here. For example, I was talking to Mr. Hoon, the CTO of Aster. So they're another parachain, and they have their own smart contract environment in Polkadot. And during my talk with him, he was explaining that the requirement for a different set of governance models for their parachain. And Polkadex also has a different set of Polkadex models. So different parachains or different app chains will have their own internal requirements and the ability to interact with each other, even though there are differences in how the systems work. That is possible because of Polkadot and the XCM technology. So now you can see where this is going, right? So my conclusion is, with Polkadot, you are able to communicate with different parachains or different blockchains which have independent trades and independent system governance models and everything else, and still you are able to build world-class experience products with world-class experience, and make sure that your users feel comfortable, and we are not asking them to change their behavior, whatever their behavior they have with their Web 2.0 product. Now, that is possible with Substrate. So that's the future that I believe that we should be working towards, because if we reach that, that's the holy grail. Because at that point, crypto will never be a niche set of market where the enthusiasts, the entrepreneurs, the crypto geeks, the crypto natives are there. But we can actually tap into the mainstream. Because someone like my parents, or your parents, or someone who is not into the tech side of things can now actually start using your product. Now, that's a big thing. Because what I believe is, when Satoshi created Bitcoin, he wanted to give freedom to people, right? And that's the reason why he created the Bitcoin protocol. And that is pretty evident from the block 0, where he encoded the newspaper article, the headlines. So we should actually deliver on that, because we are the torchbearers after Satoshi, moving forward this particular movement. And to make that happen, we should make the experience easy, and we should start building tech around people rather than asking people to come around tech. So with that, I will conclude. So this is my Twitter. You can reach out to me over Twitter, or you can visit our website. You can look up about us. And I think that's it. I think I'm already catching up too much time. Is there any other questions, or that's it?